Hello shell buddies and welcome to the Echoue Bijoux channel. You can get a hint what we're doing this week. Shark tooth hunting! John's brothers never tried this before, so we decided to take him to Manasota Key, one of our favorite places to go look for shark teeth. Let's go check it out.
There's one right there. Look at that, Luke.
Oh wow, that's a little baby.
Yep, that's about the size we're gonna probably find more of this.
Cool.
More than. Oh, laid off of one. Nice. That's really nice. There's one right there. Hello, beautiful. There's a nice one right there. Sweet. Nice little brown one. And oops, another tiny one right here.
One of the reasons I don't do this more often is because it is high season for shark tooth hunting in the summer when it's the hottest out. And as a sheller, I tend to like to go really early in the morning and not in the middle of the day when the beach is packed. Also, this is a little tougher on you with the bending. When you're shelling, at least you're moving around a little more, but when you're shark tooth hunting and you're finding them, you tend to kind of stay in one spot for a little while, which means a little more bending and a little tougher on the back. But that all being said, this is probably one of the most fun things you can do at the beach with your family for like next to nothing cost-wise. You got to get your gas to get there. And if you want the special sifting tools or a little jar, there's that. But you don't need any of that stuff to go have a really good time out on the beach looking for little small shark's teeth. It is so enjoyable and so treasure hunty, and when you find them, you get really excited. Let's go take a look at Manasota Key with John's brother Luke while we go find some little shark teeth.
Well, we haven't been here in a while. We're at Manasota Key Beach here in Englewood. We're gonna go look for some shark teeth.
You know how there's like an etiquette with shelling where people aren't right on top of each other? Yeah, that doesn't exist in shark tooth hunting.
With John's brother, he's never done this before. But we are getting here about 1 o'clock in the afternoon and it's slammed. There's one right there. Look at that, Luke. There you go.
Oh wow, that's a little baby.
Yep, that's about the size we're gonna probably find more of
That's
this,
cool.
more than anything else. So that's why we got the little jars.
Right.
So that you can just drop the littles on in there. First tooth in the jar. Luke's never been shark tooth hunting before. And we were just at COA. That was a lot of fun. He's never been to a big shell show either, so. Oh my gosh. All you have to do is just look. There they are, all over the place. There's one right there. I'll push the camera down a little bit so you can see what I got in my hand here. Little shark tooth right there. And it would appear that they are washing in. We always do well here around high tide. That's when it seems to me that the most get pushed in.
When you go shark tooth hunting at Manasota Key Beach or Service Club Park or Brohard or Venice or any of those little hot spots for them, there's like 3 different ways that you can find them. Number 1, they'll be washing in on the surf because they kind of collect down there at that swashy break line area and the water will push them up. Number 2, you can find them in the high line just buried under a little skim of shell frit, maybe like this far down. They're just run your hand over the top of them. Or number 3, you can go in the water and snorkel for them, or scoop too. A lot of people will do that, where you'll see them with the sifters and the big rakes pulling everything out. We tend to surface collect or snorkel because the surface collection is honestly the easiest. And since I'm going for the little ones people are bypassing because they're looking for the monsters, makes it a lot easier for us to pick up what we're looking for.
Done this in a while, so for those who haven't seen this, see all this dark stuff in the water? The sand pulls back. See all these black bits? That is phosphate and pounded pieces of bone and shark's teeth and all kinds of fun things. So finding that dark stuff, that's where you want to go looking. course, we got an awful lot of people right here. Uh-oh. John lost his water bottle. You got it?
Yep.
There's a lot of people here looking for teeth, but I've already found 2.
Alright, I'm going to start over.
Woo! Oh, there was a bunch of stuff here, and a wave came and it moved it all.
Who manufactured that?
So this is what we're looking at here. All kinds of chunks of bone and all sorts of stuff here in the water. These rocks, little broken pieces of little bone. There's loads of stuff here.
Because it's summer and because it's really hot, obviously hunting in the surf line is my favorite way to go here. It helps keep you the coolest. And it can be the easiest and yet the hardest way to look for them too, especially when it's crashy out there and stuff sloshing around and moving. You have to spot stuff quickly and grab it quickly in order to actually be successful doing that. John prefers to sit in the high rack line, run his hand over all the broken shells and everything, and actually I've had a lot of fun doing that too. It's really easy to find them that way and it's a lot of fun. But I like being down in the water because it keeps me cooler. Oh, because it gets brutally hot down here. Another thing you kind of want to do in a spot like this is be prepared to dig a little bit. Did you see how the water was kind of carving through that area, the sand, and there was all that cool stuff in there? There was shells and broken pieces of fossil bone and turtle shell and broken teeth and stingray barbs and all kinds of neat stuff. That happens, especially in Manasota and Venice all the time, where the waves will just put stuff up and then a little skim of sand will kind of cover things over a little bit too. So just be prepared to dig down in to find those things. If you're not going to get in there with a big rake and dump it into a sifter, for me, that is way too physical. My back can't handle that. Between trying to stand up in the waves, hold a walker, hold a rake, and then pull it up out full of stuff and dump it, that's not happening for me. That doesn't work for me at all. So that's why I like to search in the surf area. And I'll show you my technique for getting around all that heavy lifting a little further in.
Oh, there it goes, running down the beach. It might be a chunk of fossil. It's not just shark's teeth that are here. You're gonna find other stuff too. Pieces of bones from like Ice Age animals and stuff like that. Pieces of duogong rib. There's all kinds of crazy stuff here. It's a piece of a stingray mouth plate. See those ridges?
Uh-huh.
That's a stingray mouth grinding plate. That's how they eat.
Oh, wow.
Yep. Wow. So you got you a fossil. Good job. Woohoo! All right, so you see as the waves pull back, all this black stuff in here. As that pulls back, you'll see them if their teeth kind of going or just sort of sliding down. But all that black stuff and dark stuff that you see in this little edge right here, that's where all the teeth are in it.
Oh, wow.
Now, there are also going to be some in the shells up on the higher rack lines. We got to get past all these people, though. See, everybody with kids, they just come here and dump because they don't want to carry all their shit all the way down. But it makes more sense for us to go further down. Now, these piles like this here, this is not something that the waves did. That's people with the big scoops, the sand flea rakes, dumping all sorts of stuff in that they pull up in here, and then they go through it. Now, you can look through all of this and find all kinds of more stuff. Like there, that's a piece of a rib from a duogong. Yep, that's the manatee predecessor right there. You'll find pieces of turtle shell and leg bones and stingray mouth plates and all sorts of things. Stingray barbs, like this right here. That's a fossil piece of a stingray barb right there.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, it's loaded. When I say loaded with fossils, all of this black stuff is all a couple pieces of broken, assorted megafauna.
Right in front of my camera. See that?
Now you'll notice how the teeth are a little shinier than some of the other stuff. That helps you spot it too. It's warm. I'm gonna walk in the water. Yeah, everybody and their brother is shark tooth hunting. Look at all the sifters out here and all the people with the sand flea rakes. Oh my gosh. Hundreds of people out here looking. And yet, nobody wants to walk too far. So they all dump their stuff right here by where the access on the beach. And down below, there's nobody. And up above, there's nobody. It's not because stuff isn't there. It's just people don't want to tote all their gear all that far.
Here's an excellent pro tip. If you know how to read the beach and you know how to look for that dark stuff that's in the water swirling around, you can avoid some of this crush of people. One of the things we notice all the time when we go is, okay, you're toting a lot of gear and sometimes you have kids with you, and going way far down the beach is not something people want to do when they're dragging all that heavy stuff. So they get on the beach, they drop their stuff there, they go looking right there. It just so happens that right there in front of where the access is, a lot of cool stuff piles up. But it doesn't mean it's the only spot. So pro tip, if you are going to Manasota Key Beach in particular, north or south, either way, either side of where everybody dumps their stuff, we tend to just walk to the south. That's just kind of what we do. But you can avoid some of that crush of people just getting a little further past them than reading the beach for the dark material that's in the sand and the water, so that you can get in there and find some cool stuff too without everybody being on top of you.
So it's kind of totally different than shelling.
Yeah.
See what I mean? Now we see this all the time when we come here. Everybody plunks their stuff closest to the parking because they don't want to haul all their tents and all their other crap.
Right.
So once we get past this, it opens up and there's less people to contend with. So that's what you're kind of going to be looking for, where the dark stuff is in the water, and then up in the higher lines where shells and things get washed into. And it's fun to snorkel and look for them under the water, and all kinds of cool stuff you can do down here. I always look when the waves are less crashy. Now also, where this ridge is right here, where the waves keep rolling everything over, especially if you snorkel, that's a great place to look. But the water drops off a little deep. You can see how people are only a few feet in and they're up to their waist. So that just kind of lets you know that it sort of drops off there.
Here's another pro tip if you do have mobility issues or back problems or stuff like that. The beaches, especially around Manasota, and I think, is it called Blind Pass down there? Because there's like, I don't know, 5 blind passes in Florida. At least there's blind passes all over the place. But Stumps, Manasota, Blind Pass, parts of Venice Beach, over by where Sharky's by the pier is, Brohart Service Club. That beach is like this. It's not nice, gentle, sloping. It's like this. It's very difficult to walk in the surf line because of the angle that you're on. So just be aware of that. Also, be aware that when you get down into the water, because it's a little deeper, a little faster, makes it a little trickier to get out.
But when these waves pull back, watch all this black stuff pulling out of here. Oh, there goes a tooth right there. And who knows if we'll find it again. Oh, right there, right there. Ah! And of course they're small, so it's hard to get them with the scoop. Wow, that one was rough. Now what I like to do is I'll get in that break and I'll just start scooping up stuff from there and flinging it up on the shore and letting the waves wash whatever's in it out.
There you go.
You got anything in here? There's one right there. Hello, beautiful. You see, I'm just skimming the surface. This is a spot where the waves have pushed the shells and the frit and everything up at the high tide line. And this is where we find lots of lulls. There's a little shark tooth right there. You guys gonna hang out here? Okay, I'm gonna go down a little bit further. It's hard to record with all of the shrieking. Man, I just like looking in these little spots. A little bone from something right there. There's a little tooth right there. Yeah, just skim the surface. I'm looking at this first little layer. And there's all kinds of stuff underneath. Now, how far down does that go? Like about 1.5 inches thick. So they'll be right there near the top. A little piece of a fossil there. And another little tooth. Right there. I'm going to go farther down and see what there is washed up for piles to sit on in the high line while the boys check that pile there. Mostly because I just sort of want to stroll around a little. But you know, see a fossilized stingray barb, pick it up, because that's what that is. There's more fossils here on this beach than you can shake a stick at. It's crazy. Ooh. Let's see what the wave just brought. Ouch. And another piece of stingray barb there. Easier to skim the top when it's dry, but oh well. That's okay. What's this? A little tooth right there. That's the root and that's the tooth. Fun. Probably should have brought my snorkel mask. Didn't really think I was going to get in the water, but I didn't realize the water was quite this warm. And that's nice. Let's keep rolling. So you can sort of see where the high rack line is, right? The sand's all jumbled up over here. And then there's little piles of shells and seaweed and stuff. So that rough area is where the high line is, and high wasn't very long ago from the looks of things. Stuff's still wet. And see these dump piles? We always check these because people don't want the tiny teeth, they want big ones when they come hunting. And we like the tiny ones. So, not that we don't like the big ones too, we do, but we like looking for the littles. And I just like nice pieces like this that I can wire wrap and do stuff with. Of the bone. And there's just, oh my gosh, so much of it. See all that stuff? This is all stuff that people scooped out of that edge line and dumped up here to go through it, see if they found any teeth. But got a couple of other fun pieces of bone that I can do something with. Another thing we find here is hagstones. Is this one? Hagstones are pieces of rock that have bore holes through them, either from little pittocks or whatever. This one was on its way to becoming one. See, this thing's digging into that. Sometimes it just erodes out because it's, you know, limestone and scrambled up composition. Other times it's because pittocks have gotten to it and bored through.
I know I covered hagstones on an episode way back, but we've got a lot of new people that have subscribed now, so I'm going to go ahead and explain what these are again. A hagstone is a little chunk of rock that has a hole bored through it naturally, either by water or by little pittock clamps. It's not mechanically drilled by another human being. It's actually nature that made the hole all the way through this rock. I pulled some up on Google so that you could take a look for yourself and see what these actually look like. Here's one over here on the right hand side that's actually a pretty good example. It's a little stone that you find at the beach, and it's got a hole all the way through it. See all these other ones over here? This happens naturally with limestone. But pittock clams will do this to soft rocks too. So I don't want you to think that only dripping water can do this. Dripping water absolutely does do it. But there are little critters called pittock clams that can also make it happen too. In Florida, there's 3 main culprits that you could have. A little neck pittock or a burrowing clam, date shell borers, or, believe it or not, the fallen angel wing. Yes, the fallen angel wing. That thin, delicate, lightweight, and generally pretty small little shell is actually also known as the Atlantic mud pittock and one of the clams that will actually do this kind of boring activity. Hagstones are considered lucky and protective. I've actually got something pulled up on my screen here, so let me just try to read that here with the glasses that aren't working so great right now. They are used for protection. They are protective amulets. Peeking through the hole was considered to reveal hidden truths, fairies, or witches in disguise. At sea, sailors tied them to vessels with rope to prevent storms from damaging them and keep malevolent spirits from clinging to the ship. And if you're hung above a door or a window or a bedpost, that's done to block negative entities and prevent bad dreams. So there you go. They're considered good luck. If you find hagstone on the beach, pick it up and put it in your pocket. Bring it home.
Alright, let's take a look at the water over here. It's the stuff at the bottom here is not as dark, which means there's not as much right here. There's none. There's just not as much as where we were standing over there. I have batteries in my pocket right now. Otherwise, I would get right in up to my waist and go crazy, but I have batteries, so. Whoa, mercy. Something big just washed against me. I have no idea what it was. Somehow, it didn't get my Velcro on my shoe. Woo. Boy, that was hit with some force. Wow. Well, this is fun. So you made a sandcastle person. The waves are starting to take it, and there's stuff washed up against it. There's a tooth sitting right there. Well, this is a fun one too, because it's not really all black. It's got that beautiful reddish brown color. That's nice. Right on. Well, where there's one, there's more, they say. So let's see if there's another. What you got there? There's a nice little tooth right there. You can look on this side too. There's one right there in front of me. And oops, another tiny one right here. Just sitting right there on the top. Just sitting on the top. What's this? A worn piece of bone that looks like it's agatized maybe or something. That's fun. A lot of banding in there. That's really great. And there's a tooth there. Not bad. Stop right there. Got some fun things. Throw those guys in a jar too. There we go.
Thank you, weird, crazy sand body guy.
Oh, there's a good spot to look. All kinds of things getting washed out over here. Okay, so as the water pulls back, it's uncovering a bunch of stuff. Look at this. Look at this. A whole layer of stuff right under here. Let's let the water wash it. Ooh! I was grabbing for a tooth there. Nope, I missed the one I was after and it went further in. So yeah, there's some fun stuff over here. Nice big chunk of a corrugate jewel box right there. That's cool. Ooh, I just saw a tooth and it got covered over it. Huh? Yeah, that's the thing. Doing it this way, it'd be really, really fast. But, if you can be, dig up some of this stuff and see what happens. Big old chunk of bone there. That's fun. So yeah, right here, there's stuff just under that top skim of sand too. Lots of it. I do this all the time. Bring stuff up on there and see what washes out. The only bad part about this is getting all the junk in your shoes. You're almost better off taking your shoes off here. And I got that corrugate jewel box and chunk of bone. That's kind of fun. And back here, oh, it's a little broken, but that's the blade of the tooth. The rest of the top over here is missing, but that's a tooth. And there's a teeny itty bitty one right there. A little tiny shark tooth. So yeah, it's not hard to find them once you know what you're looking for here. And I love my little tinies. I mean, finding big ones cool, don't get me wrong. But that's hard work. Yeah, when the waves pull back here at these lower edges, and you see how much stuff is actually in that water. Oh my gosh. Now see, there's a silty spot right here and another one right there. That's where more of like a lip is kind of happening. Like, that's a good spot to look. Not a good spot to swim, but a good spot to look up here. Yes. This bottom's just loaded. All these little pieces of bone, little teeth, pieces of phosphate. Loads and loads and loads of it. So that's why people will take and scoop this stuff up and bring it up to the shore and see what they find. It is definitely the hard way. Rather backbreaking. Oh, the Gulf is just that impossible gorgeous turquoise today. Oh, so beautiful. When there's a little bit of silt in the water and it's shallow, that's how we get that gorgeous color. That beautiful aqua color right there along the coast. So nice. Alright, I see a bunch of stuff in that edge. I think I am going to, I'm going to dig a little bit here. Oh, coquinas! I found coquinas. Here we go. Here goes one. Oh, there goes a nice tooth. Oh, did I get it? Oh, did I get it? Yes. That's a nice bigger one. Well, not big, but bigger than the little guys I've been finding. Get a little water on that, get the sand off my hands. Hey, that's a nice one. Nice tiny little tooth. Perfect. Alright, I think I might dump my bag and work in this swashy area a little bit. Let me just plunk my stuff down and get one of my scoops out. I don't want this scoop either, because this is not the right tool for the job. This is a shell scooper. This is a digging one from metal detecting. And this is a cat litter scoop from the dollar store. And that's my favorite. And I think I'm gonna take these shoes off, because it just fills up with so much stuff. And it's so annoying. I spend half my time trying to get crap out of my shoes. It's better off just not to bother wearing them. Here's where all the fun stuff is. Let's see if anything rinses out of it. Dig around a little bit. See if there's anything good. Throw some up there. See if anything rinses out. Little pieces of bone. So the waves are doing this. Whoa. Good thing I brought extra clothes today. I got good and soaked. Glad I took the batteries out of my pocket. Alright, so the waves are coming and stuff's sort of making an arc. So if I want to fling stuff and have the waves wash things out to me, I gotta throw in that direction. Now I just kind of come up here and wait and see what happens. There's a tooth, I think. Yep. Stingray barb right there. Got a little tooth up here. Come on, water. Here comes a bigger wave, maybe. There we are. There's a nice tooth, I think. Yep. I think that's pretty good for that. And maybe we'll put the next set up not quite so high, so the waves get to it easier. Let's see what we got. So we got a tooth right here. One right there. Blade off of a little skinny one right there. Blade off of one right there. And a little piece of a stingray barb. Maybe I don't know, maybe it isn't, but I'll get rid of that. And that was one that tricked me. So there we are. There's some really big chunks of bone in here. Wow. Really chunky stuff. If you want to work easier, take and fling the stuff up there and let the waves wash it out. I find much more like that than I do getting way into the water and sifting. Yeah. Alright, so I flung up some more. Let's see what we got going on in here. There's a little tooth right there. Come on, water. This one here. Curve. That could be barracuda, not shark.
Mackerel and sand tiger shark teeth will be that drawn out thin point, almost like a peppercorn shape kindness to some of them. So they're a little finer and more delicate. But barracuda also have teeth that look very much like fangs. They're a little stouter, kind of toward where the root would be, but they also have that weird kind of curve to them. So it just, you can't be sure sometimes picking things up if the root is missing what exactly it is that you have. If you want to know more about how to identify your fossils, this is a phenomenal book. Again, not sponsored. I don't get a thing if you buy this book. I'm just telling you about it because it's an excellent, excellent field guide reference. This is called Beachcomber's Guide to Fossils by Ashby, Pam, and Bob Gale, a family out of South Carolina, Charleston Fossil Adventures. And the photography is stunning. I don't know if you can kind of see this upside down here. Let me just see if I can. It's a field guide, right? So it shows you pictures of everything. All different kinds of fossils in this book. All different kinds. But this is a great way to learn how to identify your teeth, one shark to the next, and what you may have if it's not a shark tooth but a pretender.
There we go. More fossil. It's a broken tooth, actually. That's cool. Okay. So the water level's getting a little less high, so just don't throw it as far. Oh, just dropped one. Oh, good luck. Good luck. Oh well, I'll find more. I'm not worried about it. Hello, beautiful. Aren't you pretty right there? Another one? Look at all the stuff that's underneath, just a little layer of sand though. Okay. Let's see what the water washes out. Oh, blade off of one, nice. That's really nice. It's missing the root, but I'll take it. I will take that. Ooh. Nope, I missed it. Darn, there was one there. Ooh, there's one there. Little guy. Look at that. Nice one. Wow. Hell yeah. And there's another. And there's another. Okay. So digging and flinging it up here. Stuff that I wouldn't normally see. It's got me some bigger ones. Look at that beauty right there. That's great. Awesome. That's super fun. Alright, anything else there obvious? Looks like a tortoise spur actually. What do we got here? Yep, one of those little armored pointy plates on the legs. Tortoise spur.
Oh, these are fun. Now, a lot of times folks will mistake tortoise leg spurs for shark's teeth, but they're not. They're from the armor plating on the legs of the tortoise. And let me just kind of zoom in and get a little closer to a few of them here so you can see them. Here's what they look like. They do look tooth-like, don't they? But they're actually from leg spurs. And they have a different shape where they're round instead of flat like a tooth. So it can be easy to mistake them for teeth, but they're not. So the best website that I can show you this on is actually from Swamp Girl Adventures, and it's a page about gopher tortoises. But here's what I want you to see. A gopher tortoise has some of these leg spurs. They're not really huge and they're not really pronounced. It's also not a super big turtle, or a tortoise rather, either. Now take a look at the sulcata leg spur. That looks a lot more like our fossil, right? That's exactly what those are. These are the leg spurs, and those fossils that we just saw, that's where they come from, that part of the body. So typically speaking, on a Florida beach, when you find one of these fossilized leg spurs from a tortoise, they're from the Hesperotestudo species of tortoise, okay? And I do have a little picture of one here in the wiki. I'll kind of zoom in there and show you that. These were big tortoises, from 3 to 6 feet long. They ranged from the Carolinas all the way down to Costa Rica, so there was quite a lot of them around, and therefore quite a few of the spurs do wash up on our beaches from the Pleistocene era. That's where these guys are from, the Pleistocene area, and they will wash up right alongside the shark's teeth very commonly.
That's fun too. And there's a tooth right there. There we go. So that was productive. Awesome. Awesome sauce. And are you a tooth? You are a little baby. There's a little tooth. Right there. And another piece right here. And a little baby one right there. Another one right there. Yeah, this works. This works for me. Tiny teeth. So, yeah, they're here. It's easy to miss them if you're not sure what to spot. And don't always be looking for black, because you'll get them in shades of reds and browns and tans and all different sorts of stuff. Commonly here we'll see one that starts off kind of orangey brown and then goes red and goes gray. We'll see all different kinds of that kind of stuff here at Manasota specifically. Oh, there's another tooth up there I missed. Well, howdy doody. Another little shark tooth right here. I hope the boys are finding stuff. I'm doing great. It's the root, and that's the tooth. Alright, time to fling some more stuff. Grab some more of this. Of course, if you spot a tooth while you're scooping, you should grab it. See, I'm not throwing it as far away because the waves are not hitting as high, so the tide's on the way down. Those guys in there. See what else washed out. This nice little pile. My little flame rinse method. I kind of invented that on my own. I don't really see other people doing it very much, but it works for me, and I find neat stuff. That's a tooth. It's a chunk of bone, which I don't think I'm going to keep, honestly. I like that bone better at the end of a leg bone or something. There's a tooth there. Oh! Ooh, the wave just took it out of my hand. Take that little guy. There. Look at that beauty. Oh boy. That rinsed everything, didn't it? Look at these real quick. That's a nice one. Should tell the boys to come over here where I'm at, because I'm doing really well. But they may be too, I don't know. Just feeling a little tired, so maybe. Alright, now back up and see what comes at you. tiny tooth under my nail. Oh my gosh. Another one here. Is this? Oh, it sure looks like it. See that raised ridge in the center of it? That's an osteoderm from an alligator. That's actually a really cool, fun fossil find, actually. So what is an osteoderm anyway? It's actually the bony armor plating from the outside of the animal. It actually translates out to bony skin is what osteoderm actually means. So here's a couple of pictures just to show you what they look like, and they can get pretty big. Most typically what you're going to find here in Florida are alligator ones, not crocodile. We did have some crocs here in the Pleistocene, but not enough to where you'd find them in great numbers like this. This is strictly an alligator find for the most part on the beaches around here or in the Peace River or other places like that. So here's a picture of a skeleton that actually shows you the layout. Now it's not a crocodile, it's from Australia, but it was the best picture that I could find to kind of explain this. See all these little parts and pieces? These are all the individual osteoderms from the armor plating on the back of the animal. That is a really neat find. Throw it in there. And the little guy there, little guy there, that's the tooth, that's the root, part of the root's broken off. This is fun. Oh, I forgot how enjoyable this is. We haven't done this in so long. I forgot how much fun this is. Very treasure hunty. Like shelling kind of on steroids. Alright, so back down a little further, fling up some more. The stuff I'm flinging is from down here. And again, I'm not trying to throw it too far up, because the waves won't get to it unless it's a really big one, and then I'll miss them anyway. Alright, waves, come on up here. Get on up here. Get on up here. Now we're talking. Now we're talking. There we go. Come on, bigger wave. There we are. That's what I want. Rinse all that stuff off. And I do have a piece of bone in here and some more teeth. Drop them in there. Almost lost that guy. Okay. Let's find some more stuff.
What color are they? Nope.
Let's see. Oh, I think what you have here is a piece of shell.
Oh, good.
A rare piece
Rare?
of shell.
I have some in here if you want to see the ones I found, though.
Curiosity.
Sure.
Oh, okay. So they really are. Oh, yeah, you can tell that really is.
Yep, there's another bigger one there, too. And another good one there.
Cool.
And I've got a very weird technique.
Oh, okay.
Is that right?
I fling stuff up on the shoreline.
Uh-huh.
And I let the waves help rinse it, and then I look. That's a lot less work than getting out there and dragging up the flea rakes full, you
Let the
know.
water work for you.
The only thing is you got to keep adjusting where you fling it to, because the tide's on the way out, so the waves aren't coming up as high as where I'm flinging. So I gotta like get a little closer. Hey. There we go.
Oh, really?
That one's missing part of the root. The root goes like this, and there's the tooth right there.
I see.
Hey, the waves got here. Let's see if anything else is in here. Most of the fun stuff you don't see. It's underneath the skim of sand and all these little pieces. So that's why I fling and rinse. But yeah, there's fun stuff.
Yeah, thank you.
Have fun, guys. Oh, teeth are jumping out at me. That's fun. Oh, I'm sorry. I was wrong. There's one right there. My technique looks flawed, but it works. There's one right there in front of me too. Fell right down to me. That's the nice thing about letting the waves do the work. It'll bring them to you. Now see, this one's got the black root with the red tooth. That's cool. Let's see, anything else rinse out here real quick? What's that? Nope, I'll scoop some more and fling some more. And we got this guy here. We got this one here. Most of the root is intact, and there's the tooth right there. Yay. Ooh. There's one there in front of me. Yeah. Did I get wet? There's one right there. Root across the top. Tooth going this way. Kind of angled backwards. Could have been a baby hemi in the back or lower. Once upon a time before it all got surf worn out. Right. Time to scoop and fling some more. Whoa. I think I threw a little too low. Everything washed away. There's one right there. Hello, pretty. You're cute. Oh, nice and little. This is just as good as tiny shelling, man. This is just as much fun as tiny shelling, I swear. It's so different. Really using your eyes and your body in a totally different way, but oh yeah, that's cool. Now look at these, another two little beauties I just pulled out. Fabulous. Fabulous, fabulous, fabulous. And there you go. There's a nice one right there. Sweet. Nice little brown one. See, this is why I say don't just look for black, because they're brown and they're red and they're gray and they're all different colors. Now we just wait for a wave. Ooh. Or maybe don't have to. Haha. Oh yeah. This is too much fun. Here we go. Hello. Look at you, little sharp and pointy and cute. Nice. Another nice little tooth right there. Now, not all of them are in perfect, pristine shape. But that's okay. They don't have to be. Oh, nice. We've just washed that one right out to me. There we go. There we go. Perfect. Let's see what we got. Piece of enamel, maybe.
Rock or tooth?
A little thick, I think it might be a rock.
Little thick.
Actually, this might be a little piece of what we call a tortoise spur. Ever seen the old fossil tortoises? Their legs are like this. They got all these armor plates coming off. So we find those quite often around here too. It looks like it could be up. Oh gosh, I just
That's
dropped
okay.
it on you.
That's
But
okay.
that's a piece of, that's a tooth there.
That is. Oh yeah. Cool.
And this is a tooth here.
I'll give it to my grandson.
Yeah. And this is great for keeping kids busy.
Absolutely.
I spend hours doing this.
What's the biggest you found?
Well, the biggest one I ever found was as Casperson. It was about that big. And it was in one of those limestone rocks sitting in a hole after a wave washed it. And I looked and I said, you got to be kidding me. And I picked it up. I'm like, nice. Of course, I'm not a scuba diver, so they always find the big ones.
Okay.
The big ones are further out, about 30, 40 feet deep water. But
I like your idea though. Just throw it up there and let it wash.
yeah,
down.
fling it up and see what happens. You can find all kinds of neat stuff. I keep pulling teeth out doing it, so I'm having fun, enjoying myself.
We're getting ready to move here, and we just wanted to, when we get back home, we want to show our little 5-year-old grandson, like, you know, look what Grandpa found, and you can find.
Oh, when
so
you
many
guys,
more. Yeah,
while you're here,
yeah,
take a trip over to Shark Frenzy and Fossil Frenzy.
okay.
And there are 2 stores right in Venice. They're just north of here a little ways. The divers sell all their stuff to these guys.
Okay.
And I mean, I'm talking, you know,
Wow.
this big, you know. I mean, you can be prepared to pay a few $100 for them because it ain't easy to get down there and get them. But,
Oh, I can't imagine.
Man, that's
but yeah,
cool.
you can find all kinds of them further out if you scuba dive. Even snorkeling, people will go out snorkeling right here on the end.
Yeah, you could still.
I've taken my camera and a mask and snorkeled right at this little silty edge where everything kind of breaks right there. That ledge is where everything is, and up here under the sand.
I can see it hitting. Yeah, it runs right into that.
Yep. So it gets a little deeper kind of quick, and there'll be these ripples on the bottom, and you look inside the ridges and you'll see teeth there too. And there's more than just shark's teeth. You've got you know, old dugongs, rib bones from dugongs. You've got Ice Age animal stuff that you'll find in here, leg bones, rib bones from horses and deer and
Really?
raccoons and tapirs and all kinds of crazy
so
stuff.
Funny.
Yeah, there's all kinds of.
All up and down here.
Yep, this whole little stretch that we're in, we call us Bone Valley. If you were to take a look at Florida,
Yeah.
Bone Valley runs across the state like this. It hits kind of where South Carolina is too. Now in South Carolina, you find older than Megalodon. You'll find the Parasochles angustidens, which is a much older shark. And you find big teeth from those guys up there too. But all this black little teeny tiny bits that you see,
Yeah.
it's pieces of bone, it's phosphate, it's
Is that right?
all that stuff. And that's where we find all of this good
That's
stuff.
awesome.
So, I mean, there's places you can pay them $400 to go just dig fossils for a whole day.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, legit. And it's not just that kind of stuff too. There's fossil shells all over the place around here. Sarasota's mines, the dirt mines, you know, the rock pits and stuff like that are loaded with it.
Wow.
So you'll find stuff that's, you know, Pleistocene, which is a couple million years old, Pliocene, which is about 5 million years, a little older.
Hey,
So
that's awesome.
you ran into the right nerd today, I'll
I
tell you.
love it. Thank you so much for your information.
I'm full of all kinds of useless info. I am.
love it.
Brandon, thank you so much. It was nice to meet you guys. Happy hunting. All right, time to fling some more stuff. Oh, but before I do, hello, gorgeous. You're a good sized little tooth. I like you. I like your swagger. All the roots there. A little bit of the tip is missing right here, ground down, worn down, which could have happened while the animal was alive. Could have happened with surf tumbling. Very hard to say. Oh, I just saw another one and the sand buried it. Where'd it go? Ugh. That's the trouble, man. You see something in a flash of a second and then it's gone. Crazy. Well, add you to the jar. Luke and John are still sitting on that same pile just up from me. They haven't moved either, so they must be finding stuff. Well, it seems to be a lot of chunky stuff right here. I'll just move over this way a little bit. Hello, lovely. Hello. You're sweet. There you go. Oh, wow. That one came up higher than expected. There's one right there. Let's get a little water up here. Clean it off. That's a tooth there. That is not. Piece of bone. Oh, just the root and no tooth. Bummer. Alright, let's fling some more. Oh gosh, there's one right there by the walker. Still washed out of that stuff I was flinging earlier. Look at that. Yeah. Alright, on. Well, there goes another one. Down the beach. I'm having too much fun right now. Alright, so that wave got up a little high. Most of them aren't. Make sure I didn't wash up anything good in there. Make sure I don't miss it. And come on back here. One more try right there, buddy. Fun. That's a no. That's a yes. And look at that little itty bitty baby. Oh my goodness. Total spur there. Now the tooth look close in shape. Some more. So a lot of the good chunkier stuff seemed to be above where this break is. Oh yeah, look at all this cool stuff. Piece of tooth there. Most of it is missing some of the root. Ooh, stay right there. Gotcha. Hello. Another cutie patootie. Some more here. Missing part of the root on that one. I got the blade. Missing part of the root on that. Got the blade. And most of the root and the blade. Nice. had the energy, I could stay here for an entire day and do this. I don't got it like that though. I just don't have the chops for that kind of stuff. Spend a little bit of time doing this, and then we're gonna go and eat some barbecue. Oh, blade off one. Oh, now my stuff got rinsed. Let's see what we got. Oh, I just saw a tooth get washed away. There you. Got some more. Not sure about that guy. Huh? Yeah, I guess so. Just different color on the back than in the front. That happens too. 3 more littles. There we go. Now I realize people, when they come here, they want to find bigger ones, and I get that, but I love the little ones. So much more gratifying because you can find so many more of them. Whew. I'm getting pretty hot, and back's kind of hurting from bending over like this. So maybe this little cutie will be the last one I pick up over here on my own. Then I go over to where Luke and John are, see what they got into, and if they found anything good. But the way the wave cycles are coming, there's just more and more and more stuff, and it's kind of getting pushed in and rinsed out at the same time. So really, any time of the day is good to do this. I find it easier with the tide coming up to high, or with it just going out from high. I find that that's when we have better luck doing this. I mean, it's kind of against conventional wisdom for shelling, really, but you know, these little guys are different animals. They don't behave the same way in the surf. Density and shape, everything all different. So low tide works great for shells, but high tide works pretty good for shark and bone. A lot of fun. Well, Manasota Key, for our first time back in quite a while. You did us right. Found lots of fun little goodies. I'm gonna say goodbye here and make my way over to the boys.
How fun is that? Every time I would pick one up and I knew it was a tooth, I would just get this little zing of electricity, this little thrill. It's very hard to describe unless you're into doing it, but I highly recommend it as a great way to spend a day outdoors, off devices, and just having a good time. And as I mentioned before, again, not sponsored, don't get anything. I get nothing if you get this book. I accept the happiness that I shared the information with you, and that you get something that can help you in your fossil hunting journey identify some of the cool things that you're finding out there. Am I an expert? No. Gosh, there's plenty of people that are better at this than I am, but I've learned an awful lot in a pretty short period of time, and I hope this video helps you learn something too about all the fabulous fun things you can find at the beach that aren't necessarily shells. Some of those little ones were just the most darling thing. I wish I had a better back, man. I could sit there all day. Well, I want to thank you so much for joining us on this little outing to Manasota Key to find some shark teeth, and remind you, if you want to have adventures like these, then you know what you need to do. Get out there and go sharking. Thanks so much for joining us this week, and we're going to see you again next week right here from the beach with some Bertha shelling from Pass-a-Grille.